Alright, so today's lesson is on scatter plots and correlation, Pearson correlation coefficient to be exact. This you will actually use on your project. Alright, so please pay attention, take notes, and write down any questions that you have. And I promise I'll make this a lot shorter. Alright, so let's just get into a problem, an example problem. This is something you guys will see on your tests, your quizzes, and on your worksheets. Alright, so we've been dealing with data sets, but usually just one data set, right? In this case, we're dealing with two data sets, X and Y right here. Alright, all you have to do for the first question is just to plot it. And because I have a smart board, I can do that. And we've plotted that relationship right there. Alright, so the next part, they ask you to describe the direction and strength of the relationship between X and Y. So I don't know if you guys have gone over scatter plots before and gone over positive, negative correlations, but in this case, these dots are potentially going up, up, and up. So this right here would be a positive correlation. Alright, if the dots were going down like this, then that would be a negative correlation, but in this case, it's not going to be that. Alright. So the next part is finding the Pearson correlation coefficient. Alright, and this Pearson correlation coefficient, I will explain what this actually means, but I'm going to show you how to find it first. And in order to do that by hand, it would just take a long process, but we have a calculator way, right? So first, when you turn on your calculator, you're going to go to second catalog and then go all the way down to D. You can just press D right here to get there a little faster, but right here, diagnostic on, you're going to press enter, enter, and then do that, right? So after you've done that, you go to stat, you go to edit, and then you're going to put in X's and then Y. So the L1 would be the X values, the L2 would be your Y values. So I'm going to let you guys do that right now. Alright, so we have the L1, your X values, L2, your Y values. So what I need you to do in order to find the correlation coefficient, our R value, you go to stat, you go over to calc, and then you go down to linear regression, right? You have to specify that it's using column L1 and column L2, so you're going to press second 1, that gives you L1, second 2, that gives you L2, and you're going to press enter, and it gives you this right here, alright? So this R value is what we want, what they usually ask for, right? So 0.936 is what we want to put down. So our answer to this here is 0.936. Alright, so you guys are probably wondering what that actually means. What the R value tells us is this. So the R value tells you how strong the correlation is between two variables, alright? The R value always lies within the range of -1 and +1. It won't go over, it won't go less, alright? So here's a little breakdown of how it is. If you get an R value that's positive, you'll either get a weak positive linear association or correlation, or a moderate or a strong, right? The closer it is to 1, it's going to be strong. And the same goes for the other side. If you're closer to -1, it's going to be a strong negative linear correlation or association, right? And that's what the R value actually tells you, and that's what you need to write down and specify what that actually means, alright? Alright, so moving on to question letter D. We want to find the X bar and the Y bar, alright? That's the average of the X's and the average of the means, alright? And then we want to find the line of best fit. And I think you guys did this last year or the years before by hand, but I'm going to show you how to do this by the calculator, right? So in order to find X bar and Y bar and the line of best fit, we need to go back down to our trusty calculator. So to find the line of best fit, we first have to draw the scatter plot, which we did, and then find the XY and the Y, or X mean, the mean of the X and the mean of the Y, right? So we already have this into our calculator. So you want to press stat again. Just check to see if you have it in there, and you have it in there. You're going to go over to stat calc, and then you're going to hit 2var, right? Because you have two variables, X and a Y. You're going to press enter. If you want to, you can press second L1 comma L2 again just to specify it, but I don't think you have to, right? So in this case, we have a X bar of 9.5, and then if you scroll down, we have a Y bar of 8.16. All right, so I'm gonna go up here and write that in real quick. So we have for D we have X bar as 9.5, and then we have Y bar as 8.16. All right, so we found that our second step is to plot X bar and Y bar before we do anything else. So X bar and Y bar, 9.5 is about here, 8.6, so about here, and I'm going to put an X right there. All right. The last thing we need to do is find the line of best fit, and again, we're going to go back to the calculator and find that. What you want to do is go back to stat, go over to calc, and then here you're going to use linear regression AX plus B, right? And again, let me do that one more time. Stat over to calc, down to linear regression. Again, you're going to specify L1 comma L2 because that's what the two columns you want to use. Enter, and then you get that, right? So we saw this before, but we really didn't touch on what these actually mean, right? Y equals AX plus B is your line, your slope intercept line, right? A is going to be your slope, so we're going to put 0.58, let's just round. B is going to be your y-intercept, which is 2.66, all right? So from there, we're going to go back up, and let me write down the equation real quick. Y is going to be 0.58x plus 2.66, right? And if you remember from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, we only start with the y-intercept. So 2.66 is somewhere right here, and then you really don't have to do the slope part. All you have to do is draw a line going through the x, and that's going to be your line of best fit. All right. In the practice problems, this is what you're essentially going to be doing. Make sure you know how to do the calculator stuff. I will have something printed out for you just so you have it in your hand and you can refer back to it. But again, write down any questions that you have. This is basically it for linear regression. And I will explain a little bit more in class about what the R value means and what the R squared value means. But for now, this is what you need to know what you need to know in order to solve the problems, all right? All right, thanks for watching. 8 minutes, good. Oh, extra credit to the person that comes in first and tells me what noise a fox makes. All right, bye.